Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to the EdgeVerse Techcast. This is your source for all things NXP software, tools, and enablement. If you're working with NXP's microcontrollers or the processors, you are guaranteed to learn something new here. And as usual, I'm one of your co-hosts, and my name's Kyle Dando.
And I'm your other co-host, Bridgette Stone. Today, we're exploring the world of secure provisioning, something every developer needs to worry about, but it is a complex topic many struggle with. And the good news, NXP has tools to make it much easier.
That's right, Bridgette. And you know what? One of those tools, it's called the Secure Provisioning SDK, or SPSDK for short. It's foundational. Customers rely on this utility to help them tackle all the challenges for provisioning devices.
So we brought in the perfect person to help explain it today. Joining us is Maria Wisniewska, one of the developers behind the SPSDK. Maria, welcome to the show.
Hey everyone, I am Maria, one of the developers behind SPSDK, the Secure Provisioning SDK from NXP. I am super excited to be here on the EdgeVerse Techcast. Today we'll chat about how SPSDK helps simplify secure provisioning for NXP microcontrollers and processors, and I will share a bit of what goes on behind the scenes.
Maria, I know you live and breathe SPSDK, but many engineers are hearing about this for the first time. So let's start simple. How do you explain the SPSDK to someone without a deep security background? What is it and why does it matter?
SPSDK stands for Secure Provisioning SDK. It's a Python-based SDK developed by NXP that helps engineers configure security options for microcontrollers and processors. Now, that might sound a bit technical, but here's the real-world impact. SPSDK makes it possible to properly configure the security options, whether it's in industrial machines or smart home gadgets. Before SPSDK, developers needed deep knowledge from reference manuals to configure devices. Today, SPSDK makes configuration simple and accessible, reducing complexity, saving time, and accelerating development.
So instead of studying spreadsheets and hoping nothing breaks, everything comes together in one place. To connect the dots, this is really about simplifying and reducing human error, right?
Yeah, exactly. SPSDK brings all of that into one unified command line interface. It handles everything from generating cryptographic keys to signing firmware and programming security fuses. All the behind-the-scenes work that keeps devices safe from tampering or unauthorized access. And here's where my role comes in. As one of the developers of SPSDK, as a team, we build and maintain the tools that make secure provisioning not just possible, but efficient and scalable. Whether it's adding support for new devices, improving automation, or making the SPSDK easier to use, our team's work directly impacts how quickly and securely products can go from prototype to production. One of the most exciting parts of the SPSDK is its plugin system. This allows customers to extend the SPSDK usage. For example, integrating custom hardware security modules, adding proprietary signing mechanism, or adapting workflows to meet specific compliance requirements. It's like giving developers a toolbox they can reshape to fit their exact needs without being locked into a rigid framework. That's why I'm proud to be part of the team making that happen.
Well, Maria, you guys are part of an excellent team. I've had the privilege to visit you in Roshnov, and it's a wonderful place to live, I'm sure. But your team works very hard to make this excellent tool. So thanks for that introduction. In previous episodes, Bridgette and I explored a lot of security solutions. And surprisingly, they all depend on the SPSDK as that foundational component. For example, a prior episode was Keyfactor. And Keyfactor leverages the SPSDK's plugin architecture to enable its signing infrastructure. And another thing is the SEC tool. So Libor, another Czech Republic person, joined us, and he talked about the graphical interface that the SEC tool provides to customers. Well, you know what? That SEC tool is right on top of the SPSDK that you talked about. It's really just a great way to help people take advantage of all the things you're going to talk about today. At the core, if anybody works with NXP devices and they're trying to do security or secure provisioning, they're most likely going to touch on the SPSDK. With that, can you explain 3 use cases where customers require the flexibility and the customization provided by the SPSDK tool?
So first one, automating complex multi-device provisioning. NXP's portfolio is vast and different devices have different provisioning methods. SPSDK abstracts that complexity, but still allows customization for edge cases. Customers can script automatic flows for thousands of devices, adapting logic as needed for each product family. That's huge for scalability and efficiency. Second one, simplifying manufacturing through SPSDK plugins. SPSDK offers a flexible plugin system, and one of its key components is the embedded device interface. This plugin enables seamless integration with custom hardware, which is often found at manufacturing sites. For example, we recently partnered with a customer who used a proprietary software and hardware manufacturing system. By leveraging the embedded device interface plugin, we are able to connect directly with their system, ensuring smooth interaction, and making the entire manufacturing process possible. Third one, building proprietary provisioning tools. Some teams want full control over the provisioning pipeline. SPSDK provides Python APIs that let developers build their own tools, from fuse programming to secure boot flows. It's like giving them raw metal to forge exactly the tool they need. This is especially valuable for teams with deep technical expertise and unique requirements.
So Maria, instead of customers being limited by a tool with partial provisioning features, your SPSDK team is giving them that framework so that they can build exactly the tool they need. It will require more experience and resources, but for those customers, the SPSDK seems to provide full access. Is that correct?
Yes, whether it's adapting to integrating with enterprise-grade security systems or building custom workflows, SPSDK gives developers the flexibility to do it their way. That's why it's such a valuable part of our ecosystem.
So, Maria, let's pick one of those and drill just a little bit deeper. In the use case of building proprietary provisioning tools, what is the main technical advantage there?
SPSDK exposes low-level Python APIs that allow developers to directly manipulate device configuration and security feature. For example, fuse programming, secure boot, and key management. This means full customization. Teams can design provisioning flows tailored to their unique hardware, security policies, and enterprise integration requirements. Integration with existing systems. SPSDK can be embedded into larger CI/CD pipelines or enterprise-grade security frameworks without being constrained by fixed tooling. Future proofing. Developers can extend or adapt the provisioning logic as new device features or security standards emerge without waiting for vendor updates. Automation at scale. By scripting everything, teams can automate complex provisioning steps across thousands of devices reliably. In short, the technical advantage is flexibility combined with direct access to secure hardware features, enabling teams to create robust custom provisioning solutions that align with their security and operational needs.
So, providing customers with that well-documented API, they can choose to manage their own provisioning solutions. And so this makes the customer not dependent on a new feature or an automation being enabled by someone outside of their own team. I can see where that's definitely a strong benefit. However, Maria, once that customer dedicates the time and resources to develop their own provisioning tool, how do they manage that broad portfolio of products from NXP? And does the customer need to constantly manage that tool for all the different products and provisioning requirements?
That's where SPSDK really shines. NXP has a vast portfolio of devices, and each family can have its own provisioning methods, security assets, and unique requirements. Managing that diversity is no small feat. SPSDK abstracts all that complexity into a unified framework. So instead of customers juggling multiple tools or reinventing the wheel for every device, SPSDK gives one consistent interface. Under the hood, it handles all those variations, from secure boot to key management, so developers can focus on building solutions, not decoding hardware differences. That's a huge win for scalability and efficiency.
Maria, this has been great. And I know NXP customers always ask this question. If someone is deciding between the SEC tool and SPSDK, where should they start?
So, if a customer is still deciding between SPSDK and the SEC tool, the best place to start is by understanding how the two relate. The SEC tool is a graphical interface built on top of SPSDK. It's designed for users who prefer a visual, click-through experience and want to quickly provision supported NXP devices without a need for big customization. SPSDK, on the other hand, is a Python-based SDK. It offers command line tools and APIs that are ideal for developers who need automation, scripting, and deep customization. If a customer is looking to integrate secure provisioning into CI/CD pipeline, work with custom hardware, or build their own provisioning workflow, SPSDK has the flexibility that is required.
So it sounds like developers can start simple and then graduate into automation when they're ready. A very NXP style approach. Start where you're comfortable and scale when you need to.
Yes, but trying both tools is also a great approach. Since the SEC tool is built on SPSDK, customers can begin with the GUI and transition to the SDK as their needs evolve. This way, they can get the best of two worlds, ease of use and full control.
That's super powerful. Now, if someone wants to get started and wants to learn the SPSDK, Maria, where should they start?
Oh, this is one of my favorite parts. We have made learning super accessible. SPSDK has full documentation on the read the docs, so everything from API references to examples is right there. We didn't stop at docs. We also provide Jupyter notebooks, which are an interactive environment when you can write and run code in a small, easy-to-follow chunks. They are fantastic for learning because you can mix code, explanation, and even visual outputs all in one place. And here's the best part for SPSDK users. We have created a whole collection of Jupyter notebooks that cover many devices and features. So whether you're exploring secure provisioning flows or key management, there is a notebook ready for you. It's hands-on, it's practical, and it makes experimenting with SPSDK super approachable. You can literally copy, tweak, and run examples to fit your own workflow.
Maria, thank you so much for walking us through how the SPSDK works and when customers should choose it. You covered what the SPSDK is and why customers need it, and some really great stories on how it is being used today by customers.
And for anyone listening who wants to try the SPSDK or learn more, check out the documentation on Read the Docs or the GitHub repo. We'll drop those links in the episode notes for the listeners. If you prefer a GUI, the SEC tool is a great place to begin, and you can transition to the SPSDK when you're ready for automation or customization. Again, Maria, thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate your time and your knowledge.
Thanks for having me. I really hope people learned why I love SPSDK so much. Thanks a lot.
Oh, I know they have, Maria. You did a great job. You made a very complicated topic super easy to understand, and I think you really showed the value of the SPSDK and all the work that you and the team in Roshnov do. So thanks again for providing such great insight, and thanks to everyone for tuning in to the EdgeVerse Techcast. And until next time, stay curious, study up on secure provisioning, and we'll see you on the next EdgeVerse Techcast.